Greetings. I've gone over every Fujifilm lens before, but there is a fact that a lot of people are new-time Fujifilm users, specifically too, since Fujifilm literally dropped the best value camera, be it mirrorless or DSLR, by anybody in the X-T3. There's a question I've been asked a lot and asking about a first-time Fujifilm lens. Is it a case with Canon and Nikon and Sony that kit lenses, generally speaking, are kind of, well, they're a little bit crappy and junky, but it is not the case with Fujifilm. Not only do you actually get a much better price on this lens if you buy it as a kit with the X-T3, the actual Fujifilm 18 to 55 lens is an incredibly good lens. Not only that, it actually has, it is extremely silent for video use. Actually, this is always, and I'm not a video person, but I mean, I've made more than a few videos with the 18 to 55 Fujifilm kit lens. It is an excellent lens, has optical image stabilization. You can get it really cheap if you buy it with the kit when purchasing the X-T3. That is, I mean, really, you should do that. If you're a first-time Fujifilm user and you're getting the X-T3, you get a discount by buying the 18 to 55 with the camera at the time. As a first-time Fujifilm owner, two, if you didn't actually purchase this lens with the camera, there are a lot of used copies of this lens on eBay, which can be had quite cheaply. It is actually an excellent lens. I actually know of nobody that disagrees with that fact. I first want to start off by stating three important things. Number one, I'm the only YouTuber or anybody else that I know of that owns every Fujifilm lens. I've owned the 18mm. That's actually the only one that I don't own, and I don't own it because bleh, I don't like it. So I own every Fujifilm X series lens and GFX lens for that matter. Number two, I don't have any affiliate links. I don't sell anything. So whatever you buy, I don't make a dime. I don't make a dime. Also too, when it comes to lenses in general, I've used and tested more lenses than God. So, you know, I say everybody's got an opinion. One guy said, I made a recommendation at a camera store once, and the guy was kind of sneaky. Like, oh, that's just your opinion. I was like, you know, you're right, but some opinions are actually worth more than others. Someone that's owned 4 or 5 lenses and they go, that's the best lens in the world, you should buy. It's like, you know, how do you know? You've only ever owned 5 or 6 lenses. I appreciate your commentary, but your spectrum of experience is slightly limited, such that your recommendation is a little bit less than entirely helpful. Let's start off by stating this is my subjective opinion, but as an owner of every Fujifilm lens, and the fact that I don't sell anything, my position is that Fujifilm's best lens, period. Now, it may not be the focal length you want, but I'm just stating this broadly for all photography regarding all Fujifilm lenses, that their best lens, and this is not the hood that comes with this lens, by the way, you have to purchase this separately, is the 16mm, which is a 24mm field of view. This lens is incredible. It's not cheap, but is it worth it? Oh, hell yes it is. Not only that, it can be used extremely close. How close? Yeah, about like that. Really, really, really close. With an extension tube, how close can you actually use this lens? Actually, that close. Seriously, you can use it that close if you use the Fujifilm extension tube. This lens is undeniably, my position anyway, because this is my video, not yours, is Fujifilm's best lens. That, of course, you may not like that focal length. That may not be exactly what you need, but I'm just stating that that's my position and that's their best lens. The single best all-around lens, and I always take this lens traveling, especially like if I only have a backpack and I got to stuff my toothpaste and clothes and all the other crap inside my backpack and I only have room for my X-T3. Used to be my X-T2, now it's the X-T3. Is this lens, the 18 to 135. A lot of zoom lenses are kind of crappy. Fujifilm lens, zoom lenses are actually extremely good. The 18 to 135 is actually an excellent lens. This is as far as it goes, extended out. Do you think that's too far? Maybe you do. I don't think so. Anyway, the 18-135 is the most useful Swiss Army knife lens, if you will. Even more so than the 18 to 55, which you should get as a first lens. This lens is slightly expensive, and you never see them used because anybody that owns this lens never gets rid of it because it's incredibly useful. It's an excellent all-purpose lens for everything. My second favorite lens of all time used to be the 50-140. Now it's moved down position to number 3. My second favorite lens of all time, perfect for portraiture. And by the way, the best macro lens I've ever used. And I've used more macro lenses than anybody. I own the most expensive macro lenses. I've used even the new Voigtlander 65mm macro. This lens is incredible. This is the 80mm macro Fujifilm lens, perfect for portraiture. It's a macro lens. It is incredibly fast. It is Fujifilm's #1 fastest lens. People claim that the 90mm is Fujifilm's fastest lens. Well, it is insanely fast. The 80mm is a hair faster. The actual rail autofocus system on the 80 is quite ingenious, and it also uses ceramic balls for the focusing of the driven elements in the 80. Love the 80mm macro. Oh my god. Like I said, was my pick for #2 best Fujifilm lens. This is a 70-200 equivalent. Is it expensive? Not really. Compared to a Nikon, it's actually extremely cheap. It's made in Japan. The build quality is exquisite. This is the 50-140 f2.8 aperture Fujifilm lens. Love this lens. This is the foot. This is actually removable via the 2 screws on the bottom. You actually can remove the foot on the 50-140. So this is basically Fujifilm's 70-200 field of view equivalent. Extremely well made, incredible output, brilliant, awesome, love the lens. Is it kind of heavy? Not as heavy as the 70-200 full frame lens, but I mean relatively so. I guess so, that depends. I actually like heavy lenses, but this lens is not that heavy. So those are my pick for top Fujifilm lenses. My position is that their best lens of all time is their 16mm. And second best is their 80mm 2.8 macro. Now these may not be the focal lengths that you're looking for. I mean, you may say, I only do so-and-so type of photography. Those aren't the focal lengths I need, and I understand that. If, however, you are considering, and I've got this question a lot of people wanting to buy the X-T3 because it's the best value camera ever to come down the pike, ever. And I don't mean mirrorless, I mean period, DSLR and mirrorless. You should buy that camera with this 18-55, because the Fujifilm kit lens 18-55 is an exquisite lens. Like I said, I know of nobody that says anything to the contrary on the 18-55, nor should they. So I hope you like this video. Like I said, I own every Fujifilm X series lens, so my position on that is I think it's worth something. And I also don't sell anything, so no matter what you buy, I don't make a dime. If you like these videos, you can click the link below. Tell me to jump off a cliff, whatever makes you happy. Send me an email if you have a question or a comment. I love being helpful. I'm always seemingly on the phone for someone saying, I'm on so-and-so budget, I need this or I need that, and blah, blah, blah. And, I'm helpful. Just don't call me in the middle of the night. The other thing that every Fujifilm user should buy, let me say this briefly, okay? Get the Fujifilm, the Godox 685, and the X Pro trigger. Both of these together are $170. It does TTL, HSS, is extremely reliable. Everybody should buy one of these for their Fujifilm camera. Okay, all photography is kind of substandard until it becomes, flash photography is incredibly important, Photography is about lighting, fotografia, writing with light. X Pro trigger at 685. If you want to buy the 860 unit, it's the same thing, except it uses a proprietary lithium battery instead of 4 AA batteries. But the problem with that is that it's a little bit more expensive, which is no big deal, but then you have to buy the proprietary lithium batteries, because if you only have one battery and it poops out, then you gotta have another one. If you're out in a photo shoot, what are you gonna do? You can find AA batteries everywhere, but you can't find that proprietary lithium battery to drive the 860. So that's the reason why I don't recommend that Godox Speedlight. Not that there's anything wrong with it. Everybody asks me, why don't you recommend the 860? It's not that much more expensive. Well, that's the reason why I don't recommend it. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and wait for it. Fuji! I've had too much caffeine. Way too much caffeine. Bye.